Her heart was torn into million pieces. Hindi alam ni Jessica kung anong mararamdaman sa mga oras na iyon. Halo-halong emosyon ang bumabalot sa sarili niya. Gulat, galit, panghihinayang, at higit sa lahat, she felt that she was being betrayed. Betrayed by her boyfriend and her best friend, two of the most important people in her life. Mga manloloko kayo! She cried while the two were also shocked to see her. Hindi na talaga napigilan ni Jessica ang sarili. Sobrang sakit ng nararamdaman niya habang nakatingin sa dalawa. They were both naked under the sheets, and obviously, they had sex. They were cheating behind her back. Jessica, it's not what you think. You traitors! Sumigaw agad siya kaya hindi natapos ni Dana ang sasabihin. Ang best friend niya na mula noong high school pa lamang sila. Kusa nang tumulo ang kanyang mga luha habang puno ng pagkamuhi na nakatingin sa mga ito. Of all the people that would fuck her boyfriend, ay si Dana pa ang gumawa. Tinrato niya ito bilang isang kapatid pero iyon pa ang isinukli sa kanya. Jessica, I'm sorry. Hindi ko sinasadya, Jessica. Hindi ulit niya ito pinatapos at nagsalita na naman. Hindi mo sinadya? Galit na sabi niya. She was truly devastated because she never thought that this would happen to her. The two most important people in her life betrayed her. She was not expecting that she would see them naked in bed together. Kung hindi lang niya naisip na ibigay kay Dino ang naiwan itong documents sa unit niya, hindi niya malalaman na may ginagawa na pala ang dalawa sa likod niya. Jessica, babe, we're just drunk. Wala. Si Dino naman na nagsalita at tulad na nangyari kay Dana ay hindi niya uli ito pinatapos sa pagsasalita. You! She looked at him angrily. We're over! She yelled as she pointed at him. Then she looked at Dana. I trusted you so much with my life. Pero ito, ikaw pa nanloko sa akin? Sumbat niya rito at napailing. You ruined our own friendship, Dana. She bitterly added. From now on, I don't want to see your fucking faces anymore. Miss Torres. Mr. Mario Prada smiled at her as he handed back the folder where she put her designs. Naputol saglit ang pagbabalik tanaw ni Jessica. Nasa opisina pala siya ni Mr. Mario Prada, the CEO of the famous fashion house, Prada. You are really talented. All of your designs are superb. Puri nito sa kanya. Ilang buwan din niyang pinaghirapang tapusin ang kanyang mga designs. She was a fashion designer back then. At para makakuha siya ng big break in the fashion industry, she went to Prada headquarters na nasa Italy. And of course, she was thankful to her brother, Charles. May konta kasi ito sa Prada, and because of him, she might get her big break in the fashion industry. After everything that happened, napag-isipan ni Jessica na magbakasyon ng ilang buwan sa France, to mend her broken heart and to forget everything painful that had happened to her. Noong una siyang dumating doon, ginugol niya ang mga oras sa pagdidesign ng mga iba't ibang damit. She was really trying everything to help herself move on. And we would be glad to accept all this, Miss Torres. I am willing to pay you millions for this. I am certain that these designs will have a great impact on the fashion industry, as well as on Prada. And also, what Mr. Charles Torres has said about you is really accurate. You're an excellent designer. He complimented her again. But, he said, medyo nagulat naman siya sa sinabi nito. But what, Mr. Prada? Are my designs not good? She was starting to get nervous. She knew Mr. Prada's personality. He wanted everything to be perfect. You knew that it's in our tradition. I know this sounds absurd and ridiculous, but since our father's time, the company is a family-oriented business. All of us, especially designers, stockholders, those who hold high positions are advised to be married at the age of 25, as we firmly believe that a person can work effectively if he or she is a family person. Mr. Prada reasoned out politely. Sa edad nitong 36, may asawa at 2 anak na ito, and she knew he was an ideal family man. Before I accept your designs, Miss Torres, I advise you to get married since you're over 25. But not just a fraud marriage, a real one. By that, I will gladly and proudly accept your designs. He assured her. But, sir, I worked hard for this. Gulat pa rin sabi niya. Miss Torres, it's part of what we do. The man just smiled at her. Hindi alam ni Jessica kung ano ang sasabihin. Alam niyang matagal pa siya makakapag-asawa at mapapanis na ang resign niya sa mga panahong iyon. And that was a no-no. Iyon ang dream fashion company na gusto niyang maging parte simula pa noong bata siya. She also exerted a lot of efforts for those designs. But all her efforts would be wasted kung mananatili siyang walang asawa. Kung kailan naman unti-unti na siyang nakakabangon at binibigyang pag-asa sa mga bagay na gusto niya, ganito pa ang mangyayari. Kung bakit naman kasi kailangan ko pang mag-asawa? Kung gusto ni Mr. Prada na magkaroon ako ng pamilya, pwede naman ako mag-adapt na lang o kaya magpabuntis na lang sa mga gwapong French guys. Nababaliw ka na naman, Jessica, she said to herself. At saka, baka maging tsaka pang anak ko. She shrugged her thoughts off. Naging bitter na naman siya. Mr. Prada, Jessica pleaded. Miss Torres, please, you must understand. Jessica knew Mr. Prada was just being patient with her. Kung pwede lang sana siyang lumuhod dito. Kung pwede lang sanang takutin niya itong magsasuicide siya kapag hindi siya pumayag. But that would be ridiculous. Napatingin naman si Jessica sa mukha ng CEO. Even in his mid-30s, Mr. Prada still looked really good. Aaminin niyang gwapo ito. But sad to say, the man already had a wife and kids. Mr. Prada? Yes, Miss Torres? Please? No. Miss Torres, as I said, Mr. Prada, the truth is, I'm already married. She blurted out. Nagulat naman ito sa sinabi niya. But I thought you were not. Naguguluhang sabi nito. Mr. Prada? May narinig silang boses ng isang lalaki sa likuran niya. I'm married to him. Tumayo si Jessica at nilingon ang lalaking nagsasalita. Bahala na kung sinong lalaki ang madadawit sa problema niya. Babayaran ko na lang siya. But she was too shocked and surprised to see who it was. She was not damn expecting to see him that day, or even in that place. You and Mr. Jack Lee are married? Mr. Prada was obviously shocked and confused. Of course, pati rin naman siya ay nagulat, while amusement formed on Jack's eyes. She knew who Jack Lee was. Jack Lee was his brother's friend, Christopher Troy, when they were in high school. Ang lalaking walang ibang ginawa kundi busitin siya noong high school at panay ang tawag sa kanya ng baboy. Oh no, this is trouble. Baboy, isang beses na lang itibabato ko na sa iyo ang hawak ko. Banta ni Jessica sa kaibigan ng Kuya Chris niya, na si Jack. dahil inaasar na naman siya nito habang nanonood siya ng TV sa sala. Nasa bahay kasi nila si Jack. Pinapunta ng kuya niya dahil maglalaro daw ang mga ito ng basketball. Talagang ayaw na ayaw niya sa lalaki. She hated Jack to the core. Palagi kasi siya nitong inaasar na baboy at balyena. Oo, aminado naman siyang mataba talaga siya. Pero pwede bang wag nang ipamukha sa kanya? Hello. Matagal na niyang alam na baboy siya. Minsan nga, hinihiling niyang tumaba na rin si Jack gaya niya. Saka, tinatamad pa siyang mag-diet. Ang plano niya, sa college na siya magpapapayat. Total high school pa lang naman siya. Balyena! Hindi na napigilan ni Jessica ang sarili at ibinato nga nito ang hawak nito. Unfortunately, nakailag ang mokong. Hoy Lee, tigil-tigilan mo na ang kapatid ko. Tayo na. Biglang sumabad si Kuya Chris at napilitan naman si Jack na umalis na sa kinaroroonan nito. Mas sprain ka sana. Pahabol na sabi ni Jessica sa lalaki. So, you and Mr. Jack Lee are married, aren't you? Hindi alam ni Jessica kung anong i-react niya kay Mr. Prada. Kung bakit kasi sa lahat ng lalaking susulpot ay si Jack Lee pa. She was not expecting him nor wanting to see him again in her freaking whole life. Saka wala na siyang plano pang makita ang lalaki. Sa lahat ba naman ng pambibwisit na ginawa nito sa kanya noong teenage years niya, ayaw na niya nitong makasalamuha pa. Mr. Jack Lee, is it true? Muli ay binaling ni Mr. Prada ang tanong kay Jack. Jessica couldn't even exactly describe Jack's current expression, but the man looked like he was totally amused and surprised. Oh my God! Think, Jessica. Ilang segundo rin nagsalita na si Jack. Mr. Prada? Yes, we are married. Right, cheesy pie? She immediately interrupted. Kumapit siya sa braso ni Jack na halatang nagulat sa sinabi niya. Parang natatawa ito sa pinaggagawa niya. Yes, of course, piggy pie. Hindi niya akalain na sasakay ito sa sinabi niya. Kinurot pa ang kanyang ilong. At wow! Piggy pie pa talaga ang tawag. Nandidiri na talaga siya sa ginagawa nilang dalawa. When? Mr. Prada was not clearly convinced. Last week. Sagot ni Jessica bago pa man sumabad si Jack na halatang natatawa na rin. I see, Mr. Prada said, but obviously hindi pa rin ito naniniwala sa sinabi niya. Well, I will be having a board meeting later, so I have to go. But for now, okay, I will think about your designs, Miss Torres. Mrs. Lee. The three of us will meet again tomorrow. Will that be okay? We'll settle things. He added. Parang hindi talaga ito kumbinsido sa mga sinasabi nila ni Jack. Yes, Mr. Prada. She forced a smile. Hinigpitan pa niya ang paghawak sa braso ni Jack. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Sabi nito at sabay-sabay na silang umalis ng opisina. Then Mr. Prada left them. Napabuntong hininga na lang si Jessica nang makaalis na ng tuluyan si Mr. Prada. Muntik nang hindi matanggap ang mga design niya. Mabuti na lang at nakaisip agad siya ng paraan, or else her efforts would be in vain again. What the hell did just happen? Jack suddenly said. Kaya naman napalingon siya rito. Halata sa mukha nito na manghang-mangha sa mga nangyari kanina. Let's talk in the resto, she replied. Naitaas ni Jessica ang isang kilay kay Jack nang makaupo na sila sa table. Noon pa man, hindi na talaga niya feel ang presensya ng lalaki. Kahit pa nga lang ngayon lang sila nakita uli pagkatapos ng maraming taon. Hindi pa pala nawawala ang pagkainis niya rito. What? Mataray na tanong niya. Jack laughed. Well, long time no see, Jessica. I mean, who? You look sexier and prettier now. Amusement formed in his eyes. He was telling the truth, though talagang payat na siya ngayon. Hindi naman ako pangit, no? Kung makapagsalita ka. Naaasar siya sa pagmumukha ni Jack. Kung bakit kasi naging kaibigan pa ito ng kapatid niya. By the way, what the hell are you doing here? She asked him rudely. Gusto niya iparamdam na ayaw niya rito mula noon hanggang ngayon. Nagkibit balikat na lamang si Jack. Honestly, he looked different today. He looked more handsome. Noon pa man, aaminin niyang gwapo na talaga si Jack. But never in a million years na nagkakrush siya rito. Buti na lang talaga. Modeling for Prada? She asked curiously. No, Jack smiled. Prada asking me to design a building, a new branch, na itatayo nila sa Dubai, he answered. Design? She was confused with his answer. I'm an architect, he answered, looking amused. Napanganga naman si Jessica. Jack Lee was an architect? How? Nakapagtapos ito? Saka may pangarap pala ito sa buhay. Tandang-tanda pa kasi niya noong high school, bad influence ito. Nakapagtapos ka? She incredulously asked. Hindi siya makapaniwala na isa pala itong architect. I did, fortunately. He stifled a light laugh. Expect the unexpected. Duh. She rolled her eyes. By the way, yung sinabi kong we're married, we need to continue that ruse. But before anything else, para walang sabit at walang maapektuhan, I want to ask you one thing, Jack. And answer me truthfully. Fine, go on. Talagang enjoy na enjoy ito sa pang-aasar sa kanya. Do you have any girlfriend or wife right now? She was hoping na single ito para tanggapin na ni Mr. Prada ang kanyang mga design. She knew they were both in late 20s. She was 27 and Jack was probably her age. Natahimik naman ito sa sinabi niya. Then after a minute, a smile formed on his face. Well, unfortunately, I already have a wife. Hindi naman Pare, mamaya na oblation run ha? Oo, sasali ako mamaya. Wala rin naman akong gagawin sa amin. Sige pre, kita-kits na lang. Sabi ni Jack sa isa niyang kasamahan sa frat nilang Beta Phi Sigma. Mamaya ay mag-oblation run na naman silang magkakamiyembro ng BPS sa UP. Every year, nakagawian na niyang sumali sa oblation. Ewan ba niya? Aminado siyang wala siyang pakialam sa cause ng oblation run. Para sa kanya, katuwaan lang ang lahat kaya siya sumasali. Well, he didn't mind flaunting his manhood to the crowd though. Buisit, bakit pa kasi ako pumayag na mag-commute? Jessica irritatingly asked herself as she walked alone through the street. Hindi kasi siya naihatid ng driver nila papuntang university dahil sa may sakit ito. Pagkatapos, Charles could not also fetch her dahil maaga itong umalis sa pad nito. At si Kuya Chris, hindi talaga siya mayahatid dahil pumasok ito sa seminaryo. She sighed desperately kung bakit kasi may phobia siya sa pagdadrive. E di sana, pinila na siya ng dad niya ng kotse. Muntik na kasi niyang masagasaan ng isang bata sa daan habang nagdi-driving lesson siya noon. And she was traumatized after that. Malapit lang sa UP ang university na pinapasukan niya. Sumakto ring mag-o-oblation na naman ang mga member ng isang frat doon. And just thinking of that activity, nasusuka na siya. Hindi niya matake na tinitingnan ng mga lalaking nakahubot na kahubad habang tumatakbo sa daan. Noon kasi, palagi niyang hindi naaabutan ng event, pero ngayon yata, maaabutan na talaga niya. Kaya kailangan niyang bilisan ang paglalakad. Beta Phi Sigma! Mas binilasan pa ni Jessica ang paglalakad. Naririnig na niya ang sigawan ng mga lalaki. Oh my God, nagsisimula na. She walked faster. Kung bakit kasi hindi na lang siya nag-taxi? Papalakas na papalakas ang hiyawan ng mga tao sa paligid. Nagsisikipan na rin ang daan dahil sa dami ng taong nanunood. Oh my God! Aray! Napaupo na lang si Jessica sa daan nang may biglang bumangga sa kanya. But her eyes widened when she saw a naked man in front of her. Halatang ito ang bumangga sa kanya. A naked guy from the oblation run. Kahit nakatakip ng maskara ang mukha nito, she was petrified seeing his manhood in front of her. Miss, halatang nagulat din ito nang makita siya. Hindi kasi siya agad nakapagsalita. Go away! Well, see you around. Sabi ng lalaki habang tumatakbo. Jessica's face turned red. That was really embarrassing. Jack, shit, ang ganda ng babaeng nabangga mo. Biglang sabi ng isa sa kasamahan ni Jack habang patuloy silang tumatakbo. Marami rin sila nakitakbo sa oblation run ng UP. Hindi naman nakapagsalita si Jack. The girl was obviously familiar to him. Damn it! He knew who she was. It was Jessica Monique Torres. Unfortunately, I already have a wife. Unfortunately, I already have a wife. Unfortunately, I already have a wife. Ilang beses yatang nag-playback sa utak ni Jessica ang mga sinabi ni Jack. Parang naglo-loading pa rin sa utak niya. May asawa ka na? She stammered. Itutuloy pa rin natin ito. She suddenly said. Just tell your wife na tutulungan mo lang ako para matanggap ang mga design ko. Well, 5 months lang naman. At don't worry, babayaran ko kayo. She casually uttered as if she was making a business deal. Siguro pwede naman kayo maging separated muna ng 5 months? Maiintindihan naman siguro ito ng asawa mo. She added. Obviously, the tone of her voice was kinda demanding, as she was really desperate now. Hindi na sila pwedeng umatras sa scheme na iyon. Jack raised an eyebrow at her. Wow, you're offering me to lie, but the tone of your voice, it's not very welcoming. If you want my help, you should be sweeter and nicer. Marriage pa naman namin ang asawa ko nakasalalay dito. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. She forced herself to look like a child. Jack, please. Pretty please. 5 months lang naman. Babayaran ko naman kayo ng asawa mo. Kahit 10 million pa. She begged. Please, Jack. Please. Sige no. Bigla na lang itong natawa ng pagkalakas-lakas. The other customers looked at them. Naguluhan naman si Jessica. Why are you laughing? Tumigil na rin ang lalaki sa pagtawa. You really believe that I have a wife, huh? He mischievously grinned. At doon na lang din na-realize ni Jessica na tama nga ang naiisip niya. Imposible nga magkaroon ito ng asawa. Oh my God! You good for nothing jerk! She was furious. Pinagkatawaan na naman siya ni Jack. He fooled her again. Ipinahiya na nga niya ang sarili niya sa harap nito. Pagkatapos, hindi pa pala totoong lahat ng sinasabi nito. Well, obviously, I'm not into this marriage and wife shit. Kaya nga I was very surprised when you introduced me to Mr. Prada as your husband. Hindi ko alam na may gusto ka pala sa akin dati pa, Jessica. He naughtily winked, teasing her again like they were still teenagers. Ang taas din talaga ng tingin niya sa sarili niya. Hell no, she denied. Never in a million years na magkakagusto ko sa lalaking katulad mo. Ikaw ang taong nandoon kaya nagkataong ikaw ang pinakilala ko. She defended. Jack became silent, as if he was thinking of something. Ano naman ang makukuha ko sa scheme mong ito? She raised an eyebrow. Well, I will pay you. 20 million? He suddenly offered. So, can you pay me that? 12 million, she offered. 18 million. He looked amused. 13 million, she replied. Jack laughed again. Binibiro na naman siya. Ano namang tinatawa-tawa mo dyan? Nakakapikon ka na. I was kidding. I don't need your money anyway. I have my own. Well, ito na lang. My sister is a fan of your designs. Biglang naging seryoso ang tono ng boses ni Jack. She'll be having her wedding in a few months, and she requested me na baka sakaling pwede mong i-design ang wedding gown niya. She knows I was kind of close to the Torres family before. Natahimik naman si Jessica sa sinabi nito. It was a simple request. Okay, fine. I hope you're serious. Well, I am. He smiled. Aaminin niyang Jack was really good looking. The hell am I praising him? And suddenly, his facial expression became serious and concerned. Jessica, how are you and Chino? I heard he is your boyfriend. And why are you doing this kung kayo nga? He seemed confused. Hindi agad nakapagsalita si Jessica. Alam niyang medyo masakit pa rin ang mga nangyari. We're over. Hindi na kami. I'd rather not talk about it. She bitterly answered. Jack then smiled at her. Jessica, stand. What? She was puzzled at what she has just said. Bigla itong tumayo mula sa pagkakaupo. Stand. Napilitan naman siyang tumayo mula sa pagkakaupo. Why? Shh. Nagulat na lang siya nang bigla siyang niyakap ni Jack. Everything will be okay. She was still confused at his gesture. Concerned ito sa kanya? What do you mean? Jack is still hugging her, replied. Pumasok si Mr. Prada sa resto. We need to do this to convince him we're real. Well, why did she expect anything from the hug? She should have not expected anything from it anyway. Jessica, breathe. Inhale, exhale. Sabi ni Jessica sa sarili para medyo mabawasan ang kaba niya. Nasa labas na siya ng opisina ni Mr. Prada. Mamaya ng appointment nila and of course kasama si Jack, her brand new husband. Ngayon magiging desisyon ni Mr. Prada para sa approval ng mga design niya. At aminado siyang dahil sa biglang pagdeklara niya na may asawa na pala siya, gigisahin siya nito ng mga tanong hanggang sa malaman na nga nito that they were just faking it. Where the hell is he? Tanong ni Jessica bago napatingin uli sa wristwatch. 15 minutes nang late si Jack. Baka mamaya ay tatawagin na sila ni Mr. Prada. Aaminin niyang naiinis pa rin siya dahil sa ginawa nito kahapon. Yesterday, when they were both in the restaurant talking about their scheme, bigla na lang itong nagtanong tungkol sa nangyari sa kanila ng ex-boyfriend niya. Then he suddenly told her to stand up. Then he hugged her. She thought he only did that because he was sorry. He was concerned about her. Pero iyon pala, Mr. Prada and his colleagues were at the restaurant too. So iyong yakap pala na iyon was just purely acting. Wala naman pala talaga itong pakialam sa buhay niya. She erased those negative thoughts. Pati rin naman siya ay walang pakialam kay Jack. As long as she got what she wanted, then that was it. Jessica? Jack? She heard Mr. Prada's voice from the office, calling them. Yes, Mr. Prada. Coming. Huminga si Jessica ng malalim at binuksan na ang pinto ng opisina nito, saka pumasok. Siya na lang ang magpapalusot sa lahat ng itatanong nito, especially questions about her alleged marriage to Jack. Nakapasok na siya sa opisina when she saw Mr. Prada smiling genuinely at her. She was a little bit surprised by his expression. Inaasahan niyang seryoso ito o galit sa kanila ni Jack dahil sa pagiging malabo nila sa mga bagay-bagay. Have a seat, Mrs. Lee. Mr. Prada smiled at her as he motioned her to a chair near his office table. Oh, thank you, Mr. Prada, she said and gave him a smile too. Kinakabahan na siya, and hearing him calling her Mrs. Lee gave her chills. She didn't even imagine na tatawagin siya ng ibang tao ng Mrs. Lee. Oh, where is her husband, Jack? Biglang tanong nito. Hindi niya alam kung ano ang isasagot. Kung bakit kasi nakalimutan niyang hingi ng number ni Jack. Natawagan na sana niya ito kanina pa. Wisit na wisit siya kasi hindi niya ginawa ito kahapon. Mr. Prada, sorry, I'm late. Pareho naman silang nagulat ni Mr. Prada nang may nagsalita. Napatingin sila sa isang lalaking papalit-palit sa kanila. Hey, honey. Laking gulat ni Jessica nang bigla siyang halikan ni Jack sa mga labi at tumupo ito sa tabi niya. He just gave me a smack on my lips. Well, now that both of you are here, Mr. Prada noticed her expression. Mrs. Lee? Jessica? Are you okay? Yes, Mr. Prada. I'm fine. She forced a smile and glared at Jack, who was obviously amused with her reaction. Jerk, she mouthed as she stomped Jack's foot. Oh! Jack suddenly yelled because of what she did. Alam niyang medyo napalakas ang pag-apak niya sa paa nito. What's happening? Halatang naguguluhan na si Mr. Prada sa kanilang dalawa. But Jessica smiled at him cheerfully instead. Nothing, Mr. Prada. We can proceed to our agenda now. She was grinning evilly dahil quits na silang dalawa. Okay. Mr. Prada eyed them suspiciously as he continued. First of all, well, I want to greet you a happy wedding. You told me you just got married recently, right? Tumango naman silang dalawa ni Jack. Yes, Mr. Prada. Thank you. Siya na ang sumagot. Where were you married? Mr. Prada asked them curiously. Nagkatingin na naman sila ni Jack. He was like interviewing them. Las Vegas, she quickly answered. Wala na siyang ibang maisip na lugar kung saan mabilis ang proseso ng kasal, kundi sa Las Vegas. She couldn't just say na sa Pinas sila kinasal ni Jack because Charles might have told Mr. Prada that she has been staying outside the Philippines for over 3 months now. At wala rin siyang alam sa pinagagawa ni Jack sa mga buwang iyon. Yes, Las Vegas. Civil marriage to be exact, Mr. Prada. Jack seconded. ito? She suddenly said. Just tell your wife na tutulungan mo lang ako para matanggap ang mga design ko. Well, 5 months lang naman. At don't worry, babayaran ko kayo. She casually uttered as if she was making a business deal. Siguro pwede naman kayo maging separated muna ng 5 months? Maiintindihan naman siguro ito ng asawa mo. She added. Obviously, the tone of her voice was kinda demanding, as she was really desperate now. Hindi na sila pwedeng umatras sa scheme na iyon. Jack raised an eyebrow at her. Wow, you're offering me to lie, but the tone of your voice, it's not very welcoming. If you want my help, you should be sweeter and nicer. Marriage pa naman namin ang asawa ko nakasalalay dito. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. She forced herself to look like a child. Jack, please. Pretty please. 5 months lang naman. Babayaran ko naman kayo ng asawa mo. Kahit 10 million pa. She begged. Please, Jack. Please. Sige no. Bigla na lang itong natawa ng pagkalakas-lakas. The other customers looked at them. Naguluhan naman si Jessica. Why are you laughing? Tumigil na rin ang lalaki sa pagtawa. You really believe that I have a wife, huh? He mischievously grinned. At doon na lang din na-realize ni Jessica na tama nga ang naiisip niya. Imposible nga magkaroon ito ng asawa. Oh my God! You good for nothing jerk! She was furious. Pinagkatawaan na naman siya ni Jack. He fooled her again. Ipinahiya na nga niya ang sarili niya sa harap nito. Pagkatapos, hindi pa pala totoong lahat ng sinasabi nito. Well, obviously, I'm not into this marriage and wife shit. Kaya nga I was very surprised when you introduced me to Mr. Prada as your husband. Hindi ko alam na may gusto ka pala sa akin dati pa, Jessica. He naughtily winked, teasing her again like they were still teenagers. Ang taas din talaga ng tingin niya sa sarili niya. Hell no, she denied. Never in a million years na magkakagusto ko sa lalaking katulad mo. Ikaw ang taong nandoon kaya nagkataong ikaw ang pinakilala ko. She defended. Jack became silent, as if he was thinking of something. Ano naman ang makukuha ko sa scheme mong ito? She raised an eyebrow. Well, I will pay you. 20 million? He suddenly offered. So, can you pay me that? 12 million, she offered. 18 million. He looked amused. 13 million, she replied. Jack laughed again. Binibiro na naman siya. Ano namang tinatawa-tawa mo dyan? Nakakapikon ka na. I was kidding. I don't need your money anyway. I have my own. Well, ito na lang. My sister is a fan of your designs. Biglang naging seryoso ang tono ng boses ni Jack. She'll be having her wedding in a few months, and she requested me na baka sakaling pwede mong i-design ang wedding gown niya. She knows I was kind of close to the Torres family before. Natahimik naman si Jessica sa sinabi nito. It was a simple request. Okay, fine. I hope you're serious. Well, I am. He smiled. Aaminin niyang Jack was really good looking. The hell am I praising him? And suddenly, his facial expression became serious and concerned. Jessica, how are you and Chino? I heard he is your boyfriend. And why are you doing this kung kayo nga? He seemed confused. Hindi agad nakapagsalita si Jessica. Alam niyang medyo masakit pa rin ang mga nangyari. We're over. Hindi na kami. I'd rather not talk about it. she bitterly answered. Jack then smiled at her. Jessica, stand. What? She was puzzled at what she has just said. Bigla itong tumayo mula sa pagkakaupo. Stand. Napilitan naman siyang tumayo mula sa pagkakaupo. Why? Shh. Nagulat na lang siya nang bigla siyang niyakap ni Jack. Everything will be okay. She was still confused at his gesture. Concerned ito sa kanya? What do you mean? Jack is still hugging her, replied. Pumasok si Mr. Prada sa resto. We need to do this to convince him we're real. Well, why did she expect anything from the hug? She should have not expected anything from it anyway. Jessica, breathe. Inhale, exhale. Sabi ni Jessica sa sarili para medyo mabawasan ang kaba niya. Nasa labas na siya ng opisina ni Mr. Prada. Mamaya ng appointment nila and of course kasama si Jack, her brand new husband. Ngayon ang magiging desisyon ni Mr. Prada para sa approval ng mga design niya. At aminado siyang dahil sa biglang pagdeklara niya na may asawa na pala siya, gigisahin siya nito ng mga tanong hanggang sa malaman na nga nito that they were just faking it. Where the hell is he? Tanong ni Jessica bago napatingin uli sa wristwatch. 15 minutes nang late si Jack. Baka mamaya ay tatawagin na sila ni Mr. Prada. Aaminin niyang naiinis pa rin siya dahil sa ginawa nito kahapon. Yesterday, when they were both in the restaurant talking about their scheme, bigla na lang itong nagtanong tungkol sa nangyari sa kanila ng ex-boyfriend niya. Then he suddenly told her to stand up. Then he hugged her. She thought he only did that because he was sorry. He was concerned about her. Pero iyon pala, Mr. Prada and his colleagues were at the restaurant too. So iyong yakap pala na iyon was just purely acting. Wala naman pala talaga itong pakialam sa buhay niya. She erased those negative thoughts. Pati rin naman siya ay walang pakialam kay Jack. As long as she got what she wanted, then that was it. Jessica, Jack. She heard Mr. Prada's voice from the office, calling them. Yes, Mr. Prada. Coming. Huminga si Jessica ng malalim at pinuksan na ang pinto ng opisina nito, saka pumasok. Siya na lang ang magpapalusot sa lahat ng itatanong nito, especially questions about her alleged marriage to Jack. Nakapasok na siya sa opisina when she saw Mr. Prada smiling genuinely at her. She was a little bit surprised by his expression. Inaasahan niyang seryoso ito o galit sa kanila ni Jack dahil sa pagiging malabo nila sa mga bagay-bagay. Have a seat, Mrs. Lee. Mr. Prada smiled at her as he motioned her to a chair near his office table. Oh, thank you, Mr. Prada, she said and gave him a smile too. Kinakabahan na siya, and hearing him calling her Mrs. Lee gave her chills. She didn't even imagine na tatawagin siya ng ibang tao ng Mrs. Lee. Oh, where is her husband, Jack? Biglang tanong nito. Hindi niya alam kung ano ang isasagot. Kung bakit kasi nakalimutan niyang hingi ng number ni Jack. Natawagan na sana niya ito kanina pa. Wisit na wisit siya kasi hindi niya ginawa ito kahapon. Mr. Prada, sorry, I'm late. Pareho naman silang nagulat ni Mr. Prada nang may nagsalita. Napatingin sila sa isang lalaking papalit-palit sa kanila. Hey, honey. Laking gulat ni Jessica nang bigla siyang halikan ni Jack sa mga labi at tumupo ito sa tabi niya. He just gave me a smack on my lips. Well, Now that both of you are here, Mr. Prada noticed her expression. Mrs. Lee? Jessica? Are you okay? Yes, Mr. Prada. I'm fine. She forced a smile and glared at Jack, who was obviously amused with her reaction. Jerk, she mouthed as she stomped Jack's foot. Oh! Jack suddenly yelled because of what she did. Alam niyang medyo napalakas ang pag-apak niya sa paa nito. What's happening? Halatang naguguluhan na si Mr. Prada sa kanilang dalawa. But Jessica smiled at him cheerfully instead. Nothing, Mr. Prada. We can proceed to our agenda now. She was grinning evilly dahil quits na silang dalawa. Okay. Mr. Prada eyed them suspiciously as he continued. First of all, well, I want to greet you a happy wedding. You told me you just got married recently, right? Tumango naman silang dalawa ni Jack. Yes, Mr. Prada. Thank you. Siya na ang sumagot. Where were you married? Mr. Prada asked them curiously. Nagkatingin na naman sila ni Jack. He was like interviewing them. Las Vegas. She quickly answered. Wala na siyang ibang maisip na lugar kung saan mabilis ang proseso ng kasal, kundi sa Las Vegas. She couldn't just say na sa Pinas sila kinasal ni Jack because Charles might have told Mr. Prada that she has been staying outside the Philippines for over 3 months now. At wala rin siyang alam sa pinagagawa ni Jack sa mga buwang iyon. Yes, Las Vegas. Civil marriage to be exact, Mr. Prada. Jack seconded. Wala naman talaga silang pinlano kahapon sa kung ano ang isasagot nila sa mga magiging katanungan ni Mr. Prada. They were just talking about the rules at ang mga bagay na makukuha nila sa kasinungalingang gagawin nila. I see. Parang hindi pa rin ito makapaniwala sa isinagot nila. Jessica, your brother Charles didn't mention anything about you being married already. He suddenly added. He really doesn't know I'm married, Mr. Prada. He's busy with our family business. That's why he doesn't know yet about the two of us. And we got married in Las Vegas, so that's also one of the reasons. She replied, making sure she didn't sound like she was lying. And Mr. Jack Lee, I didn't know that you knew each other. The suspicion in Mr. Prada's voice was still there. We've known each other since kids. My family and her family are friends. And I am very close to his brother Chris. Si Jack naman ang sumagot. I heard too, Mrs. Lee, that you went for Europe to forget things and move on because of what happened with you and your ex-boyfriend. Was that Dino? I think it was Charles that told me about it. Halata talaga na hindi pa rin to kumbinsido sa scheme nila Jack, and any minute, mapapaamin silang dalawa. Yes, it's true, Mr. Prada. Nagulat naman si Jessica na magsalita si Jack. Well, before they were even together, me and Jessica already have a thing for each other, even when we were just teens. But because I got separated with my parents and lived on my own to attend college, we seldom saw each other. Then I went here to Europe and we met again. Then things happened so fast. We got married. Dagdag nito na parang shinortcut na lang din ang kwento. Mr. Prada breathed hard. Then it settled. I will accept your designs, Mrs. Lee, and also Mr. Lee. regarding your design for our new branch in Dubai. But before that, I need a legal document from the two of you, your marriage certificate. I'll not be here tomorrow. I have some errands to do, Mr. Prada suddenly said and rose from his seat. The next day, bring your marriage contract or certificate to me. After that, everything is done. And that day will also be a deadline, Mr. and Mrs. Lee. You know this is business, right? He added. Yes, Mr. Prada. Jessica stuttered. She was really in big trouble. Okay, thank you for giving me your time. Both of them shook Mr. Prada's hand. You're welcome, Mr. Prada. I guess we have to go. Then they went out of Mr. Prada's office. Jack, we need to go to Las Vegas right now, Jessica suddenly said. We need to get married. Lalong lumakas ang kabog ng dibdib ni Jessica na naglalakad na siya pupunta sa office kung saan gaganapin ang civil marriage nila ni Jack. Ready na ang lahat at siya na lang daw ang kulang. It was already dark. Mabuti nga at naalala niyang may naging kaklase pala siya na nagtatrabaho ngayon sa Vegas. Tumulong ito sa pagproseso ng marriage contract nila ni Jack by changing the date of their wedding. Ang gagawin lang nila ngayon ay magpakasal talaga ng totoo para hindi maging fraud ang contract. She inhaled deeply. Hindi niya inakala na sa dami ng mga lalaki, si Jack ni pa ang magiging asawa niya. Yes, it was only a ruse. Pero hindi pa rin niya maiwasang isipin na ang lalaking isinusumpa noon, ang lalaki palang tutulong sa kanya ngayon. And now, he would be her husband. Just thinking about that, parang may mali. Dumating na nga siya sa office kung saan gaganapin ang civil marriage nila. She slowly opened the door and entered. You're now man and wife. You may kiss your bride. Opisyal na nga silang ipinakilalang mag-asawa matapos ng pagpapalitan ng vows. Pagkarating kanina ni Jessica, sinimulan na agad ang kanilang kasal. Hindi niya ina-expect na may dalawang singsing pang nakahanda dahil wala naman sa plano iyon. Nagulat na lang siya na sa part ng pagpapalitan ng singsing, there were real rings for them. Ayon daw sa mga officiator, kasali na raw iyon sa bayan. Then after the wedding, they would sign a marriage contract. Kiss na raw, Mrs. Lee. Jack was teasing her again. No way! Sabi ni Jessica at napatingin sa mga officiators. Parang hinihintay ng mga ito ang halikan nila ni Jack. Napatingin naman muli ito sa lalaki. He was giving her a mischievous grin. They're waiting. Kung pwede lang sana niyang saksakin ito ng ballpen na nasa table ng officiator, pero hindi pwede. Baka imbes na makulong siya dahil hindi totoong kasal nila, sa murder pa siya makulong. Nakarinig sa Jessica na may biglang umubo. Napansin niya ang isang officiator na katabi ni Jack na tila naiirita na dahil sa katagalan nila. She frowned. Fine. She quickly grabbed Jack's face and kissed him on the lips. Kahit mas matangkad pa ito sa kanya, she did it quickly and immediately pulled away. Ayaw niyang i-take advantage nito ang kanyang mga labi. Jack was really shocked at her sudden move at mukhang nabitin pa. That was quick, he jokingly commented. Can we sign the papers now so we can go? Jessica said instead. Need a ride? No, kaya ko mag-isa. Are you sure? Yeah, just stop asking, Jack. Naiiritang sabi ni Jessica sa lalaki na makalabas na silang dalawa sa hall kung saan naganap ang civil marriage nila. Gabing-gabi na kasi, kaya Jack was offering her a ride. Marami ring taong nandoon sa labas. Maybe because Las Vegas was a 24-hour city. Lagi iyong busy. A world-famous sin city. Ayaw niyang makasama si Jack. She just liked to be alone for now. Well, she was really frustrated with her life right now. Nang dahil sa pagiging desperada niya para lang makuha ang approval ni Mr. Prada, she put herself in a complicated situation. One she had no idea how would turn out in the future. Pero, basta bukas na bukas, ibibigay na nila ang marriage contract kay Mr. Prada. Then, they would go their separate ways until 5-month deal was done. Well, they would benefit from it. The approval of her designs as well as Jack's. Nauna na siyang maglakad papalayo sa lalaki. She didn't care anymore. Hey, sexy, wanna have some fun? No. How about sharing the night with me? Shut up. Jessica declined while walking in a busy street in Las Vegas. Hindi niya akalain na talagang lumalabas ang mga malalandi at hudlom sa gabing iyon. Iyong iba, ang lagkit-lagkit kung makatingin sa kanya. Hindi naman ganoon ka-sexy ang suot niya. Actually, she was even wearing thick sweaters and pants. That these guys, parang gusto na siyang lamunin ng buhay. Need a ride again? Busit na talaga si Jessica. Isa na lang at sisipain niya na ang taong ito. I said no. She was taken aback when she saw Jack inside the car. Akala niya nakaalis na ito. Why are you still here? She asked. Rather than asking me questions, just ride. Sa mga nakikita ko pa lang sa mga lalaking nakapaligid sa'yo, they look like they're going to rape you here. Jack answered. Jessica just sighed. Napilitan na siyang sumakay sa kotse nito, sa passenger seat. Whose car is this? She asked curiously when Jack started driving again. I have a friend in the city and he lent me this. He answered dryly as he was maneuvering the car. Bigla namang natahimik ang paligid pagkatapos. How about a relaxing stroll? He suggested while looking at her with bleeding eyes. Yeah, sure, she said awkwardly. Iniiwasan niyang magtagpo ang mga mata nila. So, what happened? Nasa isang parking na sina Jack at Jessica at magkasama nang naglalakad. May mga tao rin doon, enjoying themselves with a cool breeze and the view of the city. Jessica was sure it was already past midnight. What happened what? Jessica asked. Hindi niya makuha ang tanong ng lalaki. You and your boyfriend, he answered. Nagulat naman siya. She stopped for a moment, then she faced him, watching him. He suddenly raised his 2 hands in the air. If you don't want to tell me, it's fine, sabi ni Jack. Mukhang takot ito sa gagawin niya. Natawa na lang si Jessica sa ikinilos ng lalaki. Although Jack was infuriating, she still owed him on consenting to this scheme. She was even expecting na hindi ito papayag, lalo pat may hindi sila magandang pass na dalawa. I was too naive and stupid, she simply said as she continued walking. Mabuti na lang at malamig ang simoy ng hangin. It was really good feeling the cold air. Yes, she was too naive and stupid. Hindi niya alam na noon pa pala may gusto ang best friend niya sa boyfriend niya. She was too stupid for believing the lies. She was so confident that the two would never hurt her feelings. Pero hindi niya inakala na ang dalawang taong malapit sa puso niya ang dudurog sa kanya. Akala niya ay si Dino na ito na ang lalaki para sa kanya. Pero hindi pala. And maybe the pain would be less kung ibang babae ang gagawa ng milagro kasama ang boyfriend niya. But it was Dana, her best friend. Well, the man was a jerk. Jack commented. Natawa naman si Jessica sa isinagot nito. But everything happens for a reason though, he added. She stopped walking and smiled at him. Hindi ko alam na makakausap ka pala ng matino. She raised an eyebrow on him. Ngayon lang yata sila nagkausap ng matino at hindi nag-aaway. Natawa naman si Jack sa sinabi niya. Come on, Jessica. It's been years. Nag-mature na ako. He replied shockingly. Well, hindi obvious. Pabirong inirapan niya ito. But you know, huwag ka na magulat if I am thankful for you. For colliding with me. Well, you agree with no complaint. Well, the payment. Akala ko ba may talent fee ako rito? O yung payment yung design ng wedding gown para sa kapatid mo? Don't worry, ipapadala ko ang design sa inyo. Yeah, right. But hey, I was just kidding. Then after that, they became silent. Siguro hanggang dito na lang tayo, Jack. Jessica broke the silence. As what he had planned, I'll give the marriage contract to Mr. Prada tomorrow. Then everything's settled. We'll go our separate ways afterwards. Then after 5 months, magkita na lang tayo sa Las Vegas for annulment. She added, at napatingin sa lalaki. She realized Jack was really tall, the same height as her brothers. Yeah, Jack agreed reluctantly. She noticed something in his eyes when he said a word, but then he composed himself as he smiled at her genuinely. Then, this is a goodbye, Mrs. Lee. Jessica smiled at him too. Yeah, Mr. Lee. Good luck to us. Merci. Jessica thanked the waiter in French nang ibinigay nito sa kanya ang kanyang order na kape. Nasa isang coffee shop siya sa France. After the ruse, she went back to France, while Jack went back to the Philippines. Nandoon kasi ang trabaho nito. Jack only went abroad for business and sometimes when he was invited in some fashion-related events. Everything was okay. Mr. Prada approved their designs after she handed him their marriage contract. Jessica sipped the coffee. She smiled. It was a very relaxing morning. Ilang minuto lang tumunog ang phone niya. She quickly grabbed it from her table and was confused to see an unknown caller, especially when the caller's number came from the Philippines. Were her parents calling her again? Kakatawag lang sa kanya ng mga ito kagabi. Hello? She answered the call. Jessica? It was a male voice. It was very familiar to her. Jack? It was Jack, absolutely. Pero bakit ito napatawag? It had been a week nang marinig niya ang kanyang boses. Why are you calling me? Hindi niya maiwasang mag-alala. Hindi naman ito basta-bastang tatawag sa kanya. I'm here in Cebu. You need to come here. His voice sounded frustrated. Why? May nangyari ba? She was puzzled. My grandparents. He inhaled deeply. They saw the marriage contract. They want to meet you. Kaagad tumayo si Jessica mula sa pagkakaupo nang lumapag na sila sa Cebu. She was really in a bad mood. Naiinis siya kay Jack dahil pinakita nito sa lolo't lola niya ang marriage contract nila. They were doomed. Noong tinawagan siya bigla ni Jack sa friends, sinabi nitong kailangan daw niyang umuwi ng Pilipinas as soon as possible. Kung pwedeng araw ay next week na agad. His grandparents were interrogating him about their marriage. At hindi nag-deny si Jack at sinabing fake lang iyong documents, kaya mas lalo siyang nainis dito. Things were getting too complicated. Mamaya, Kakausapin niya ang lalaki at bahala na kung kailangan niyang manisi. Buong akala niya after those incidents in Italy and Las Vegas, magbabago ang kanyang pananaw tungkol kay Jack. That he wasn't that bad after all. Pero ngayon yata ay napapaisip siya na hindi pa rin pala ito nagbabago. That he was still the jerk she knew when she was still a teenager. When she's done getting her baggage, may napansin naman siyang dalawang matandang mag-asawa na may dalang poster kung saan nakasulat ang Lee family with Lola Rose and Lola Potts. And what made her close her eyes from embarrassment was Jack, who was holding a cardboard with the word, My Piggy Pie. At nang makita pa lang niya ang pagmumukha ng lalaki na nakangiti sa kanya, gustong-gusto niya na itong sakalin. Nakakahiya ang ginagawa nito sa airport. Her face was getting red because of it. Na makalapit na siya, the old couple happily hugged her. Mukhang masaya ang mga ito sa pagdating niya. Sa wakas, nakita ko na rin ng personal ang apo-in-law ko. Sabi ng matandang babae matapos siyang yakapin. Hula niya, ito ang lola ni Jack. You're so beautiful, Jessica. Puri nito sa kanya. She just smiled shyly. Thank you po. By the way, I am Rosie. You can call me Lola Rose. Gaya ng mga apo ko. The old woman introduced herself. She was in a very good mood. And this is my husband, Peter. You can call him Lolo Potts. She then gestured to her husband, who also smiled at her. Mukhang mababait ang mga ito, and their nicknames were cute. Sige, tara na, gabing-gabi pa naman, sabi ni Lolo Potts sa kanila. Naunang tumalikod at naglakad palabas ng airport ang dalawang matanda, habang naiwan naman silang dalawa ni Jack. Yes, it was already very late in the evening. Malapit na mag-11 p.m. nang dumating siya sa Cebu. The flight was connecting kaya medyo may jet lag pa siya. Hindi na siya dumaan sa bahay ng mga magulang niya sa Maynila. Walang alam ang mga ito tungkol sa kanila ni Jack. And she didn't want them to know what happened to her and Dino too. Because probably she was scared that her parents would discover that her marriage with Jack was just a lie. Jack helped her with her baggage, pero bago pa man ito makalayo sa kanya, she said, Jack, what happened? Bakit alam nila? I'll explain to you later. May jet lag ka pa eh. She sighed. Nakakainis ka talaga. Jack just chuckled. Mukhang enjoy na enjoy ito sa pang-aasar sa kanya. Sumakay na nga silang lahat sa kotse, and the old couple were sitting at the front, while she and Jack were at the back. Isang malaking van ang dala ng mga ito. The driver started the engine. Everyone was silent. Pero naiinis pa rin siya dahil sa mga nangyayari. Inis na inis talaga siya kay Jack. Mukhang wala lang ito kasi sa kanya. Mukhang kalmado pa rin ito. If you're feeling tired, you can rest your head on my shoulder and sleep. Biglang sabi ni Jack. She wasn't even sure kung maarte lang ba itong sweet sa kanya. Shut up, she replied, but not so loud. But Jack just chuckled again at her reply. Paano ba siya makakapag-relax? She did not even sleep on her flight very well. Kakaisip sa mga possibilities sa magiging outcome ng pinasukan nilang gulo ni Jack. So, kailan niyo ba kami bibigyan ng magiging apo sa tuhod? Biglang excited na tanong sa kanila ni Lola Rose. Oo nga, ang Lola Rose niyo nga nag-iisip na ng mga magiging pangalan. Sabi naman ni Lola Potts. Nagulat naman silang dalawa ni Jack. Oh my God! Never mapupunta ang plano nila ni Jack sa pagkakaroon ng anak. It was never on their scheme. They would never click. Hindi na kailanman naisip na magkakaroon sila ng future bilang mag-asawa. Jessica didn't know what to say. Ayaw niyang sumama ang loob ng dalawang matanda na mabait pa namang sumulubong sa kanya. The old couple were looking at them expectantly with beaming eyes. She turned her head at Jack, looking at him sharply. Bigla naman siyang inakbayan ni Jack. Lola, my wife is not ready for a child yet. Busy pa kasi siya sa work niya as a fashion designer. Palusot nito. Napilitan namang tumango si Jessica. Opo, Lola. She forced a smile. But soon though, Jack said. Sinikon naman niya ito ng mahina sa tagliran. Mukha namang nalungkot ang matandang babae sa isinagot nila. Ay, when is that soon na po? Baka ang soon na yan, patay na kami ni Peter. Baka pwedeng this year na? Kahit isa lang naman. Tapos tatawagin niya akong mamita, o diba? Sabi nito. Huwag namang mamita, Rose. Baka mamaya itawag sa akin papito. Lolo Potts joked as all of them laughed. Natawa na rin si Jessica. She didn't expect na joker pala ang mga ito. Kaya nga Jessica, Jack, please? Iha, magpabuntis ka na. The old woman suddenly teased them. Jessica was starting to get embarrassed. Namumula na siya dahil sa pinagsasabi ng matatanda. Well, she could also sense that Jack was feeling awkward too. Sige, what do you think about it, honey? Bigla nitong ibinaling ang tanong sa kanya. We'll try, she answered. Napansin naman niyang medyo natawa si Jack sa isinagot niya. Siniko ulit niya ito sa tagiliran kaya napaaray na ito ng mahina. O sige na nga, pero as soon as possible ha. It was an hour drive nang dumating na nga sila sa bahay ng mga Lee. It was in the Now Cebu. At medyo malayo-layo iyon sa airport as well as the city. The house was really simple. It was huge, but the designs and the decorations were not that complicated. Hindi halata na mayaman ang mga ito dahil sa itsura ng bahay. O sige na mga apo, masyado nang late. Magpapahinga na muna kami ng lolo nyo ha. Kayo rin Jessica and Jack. Bukas na lang tayo ulit mag-usap. Sabi ni Lola Rose sa kanila at umalis na habang kasunod dito si Lolo Potts. Jack, matutulog ako sa guest room. She insisted. You can't. Jack replied. Nangiinis ka ba? Bakit parang wala lang talaga sa'yo ang mga nangyayari? He wasn't even panicking. Oh my God! She reacted in horror. Jack, we will never consummate our marriage. Ayaw niya mag-sex sila or make love, or whatever na tawag doon. Sa lalaking mahal niya at mamahalin habang buhay lang niya ibibigay ang lahat ng sa kanya. And Jack is definitely not on the list. Jack chuckled. I was joking. But hey, I'm sorry. He defended. I didn't do it on purpose. Hindi ko alam kung paano nila nalaman yun. Umalis lang ako at pagka-uwi ko, bigla nila akong tinanong kung anong marriage contract ang nakita nila sa kwarto ko. They bombarded my room, Jessica. And because of it, they want you to stay here at least for a few months. Oh God. Kahit kailan talaga nakakainis ka, no? What if our parents know about this? That would be the most complicated situation, Jack. No. Jack shook his head. Sinabi ko na sa kanila na alam na ni na Dad at ng parents mo. They won't bother asking them. I know them, Jessica. They're my grandparents. Jack assured her. Matutulog na ako. She replied instead. Kahit inis na inis pa rin, gusto na talaga niyang magpahinga. She was still jet-lagged. O sige, tabi na tayo. We're married anyway. Napansin naman ni Jessica na hinubad ni Jack ang suot nitong t-shirt. He was now half naked. What the hell are you doing? No, Jack, she protested. And why are you taking your shirts off? Tanong niya at pilit na ipinakita na hindi siya naapektuhan sa hubad na katawan nito. Ganito ako matulog eh. I thought you knew. He amusingly replied. Remember? Ganito ako matulog kapag nag-sleep over ako sa inyo, di ba? No way! Ayaw talaga niyang tumabi si Jack sa kanya. Noong sila pa ni Dino, magkatabi silang natutulog. Saka wala namang nangyaring kababalaghan sa kanila. But Jack, definitely a no-no. Baka mamaya ay gapangin pa siya nito. Matulog ka sa sahig at ako sa kama. She commanded. What? Pero mag-asawa tayo, di ba? Natatawang sabi nito pero hindi na niya ito pinatapos. Ikaw ang may kasalanan na lahat, kaya sa sahig ka matutulog. Fine. Sumuko na rin ito. I'll sleep on the floor. Jack. Medyo nagising si Jessica nang marinig na may kumakatok sa kwarto. She was still sleepy to get up, Jack. Jack! Tawag niya sa lalaki. Jack finally woke up. Halata rin sa boses nito na inaantok pa. May kumakatok. Jessica? Jack? Agad naman silang napabangon nang biglang may nagsalita. Their eyes widened when they saw Lola Rose and Lolo Potts in their room. Mukhang nagulat ang dalawa nang makita ang setup nila. Jessica sleeping on the bed, while Jack on the floor. Bakit hindi kayo magkatabing natulog? Kaagad namang napabangon si Jack mula sa pagkakahiga sa sahig. Napatingin agad siya kay Jessica. Nagulat ding makita ang dalawang matanda sa kwarto nila. Alam niya kung ano ang ugali ng lolo't lola niya. Mahilig makialam ang mga ito sa mga gamit niya. And they never considered giving him privacy. Are you speed, Lola Rose? Nilapitan niya si Jessica sa kama. He also wrapped his arms around her shoulders, giving her a gentle squeeze. Tapos nakita ko itong asawa ko na mahimbing pa rin ang tulog. Pero ayoko makaistorbo kaya sa sahig na muna ako natulog, Lola. Masyado kasing maganda itong asawa ko para gisingin. He lied. Natawa naman si Jessica sa sinabi niya. Oo nga po, Lola Rose. I mean, magkatabi naman talaga kaming matulog. Pagkatapos, he suddenly woke up to pee. Pakikisakay naman ito. Ang cheesy talaga ng asawa ko. Kahit ang totoo, alam niyang nandidiri ito sa mga nangyayari ngayon. Napansin naman nila na parang kinikilig si Lola Rose habang nakatingin sa kanila. Naku, ito talagang mga batang ito. Sige na, bilisan niyo na para magkaapo na kami sa tuhod ni Peter. Biro naman ni Lola Rose. Sige na, Jessica, Jack, aalis tayo. Magsisimba tayong apat. Then, we'll tour Jessica to Cebu. Lola Rose winked before she and Lola Potts went out of the room. Shit! Muntik na yun ah! Jack suddenly cursed kaya naman agad na patingin sa kanya si Jessica. She was staring at him. Galit na naman ito sa kanya. Kahit noon pumang teenager sila, talagang mainit na ang dugo ng babae sa lalaki. What? Tanong niya. It's her fault. Jessica gritted her teeth. Siya na naman ang sinisisi nito. Why me? Jack amusingly replied. Ikaw ang tumanggi na magtabi tayong matulog, di ba? You declined my offer, so it wasn't my fault, Mrs. Lee. Are you thinking that I'm gonna rape you? Napansin naman niyang kumunot lalo ang noo nito. Well, if you're giving me signs that we could consummate our marriage, why not? He was just kidding, of course. Simula pa man noon, lagi rin niyang inaasar si Jessica. And he would admit, talagang natatawa siya sa mga reaksyon nito sa tuwing ginagawa niya iyon. You hypocrite! She was already fuming. Namumula na ito sa galit. Wala ka talagang magawa maliban sa busitin ako, no? Bigla itong tumayo sa pagkakaupo sa kama. Pasalamat ka't nandito sina lolo at lola. Naiinis na sabi nito. She grabbed the towel from the chair near the bed. Maliligo na ako. Sir, could you please go out? Jessica was still looking at him. Kaya natawa na lang siya rito. Fine, I'll go out. Jessica, come down. Shut up and go out. Okay. He surrendered. Tumayo na rin siya at naglakad papalapit sa pinto ng kwarto. But before Jessica could enter the bathroom, he suddenly interjected. By the way, that's my towel, he said, amused as he went out and locked the door. Apo, kailan ba kayo magpapakasal sa simbahan ni Jessica? Biglang tanong ni Lola Rose kina Jessica at Jack.